Welcome to today's Explainer. I am absolutely pumped to share this one with you, because we're going to be exploring this massive, almost silent shift that's happening literally right under our noses in the tech world. Today, we're looking at how 12 specific open-source GitHub repositories are quietly replacing the absolute biggest commercial software giants on the planet.
Right, so to truly grasp the scale of this disruption, we've got to look at the numbers. Every single year, companies all around the globe are dropping billions, and yeah, I mean billions with a B, on recurring SaaS subscriptions, software as a service. We're talking these incredibly expensive monthly bills for literally everything, right? From advanced AI development all the way down to simple team scheduling and note-taking. It's just this astronomical overhead that you're expected to pay just to keep a business running these days.
Okay, let's dive into this, because while so many companies are just locked into this expensive SaaS trap, there is this totally parallel universe existing right now on GitHub. And in this ecosystem, open source developers aren't just, matching what the big corporations are doing. They're actually innovating at an incredible, massive scale. And the wild part? They're often doing the whole shebang entirely for free.
So here's our roadmap for today's Explainer. We're going to start with the billion-dollar SaaS trap. Then we'll dive right into the local AI revolution. Look at redefining workflows and productivity, explore open-source app infrastructure, and then we'll wrap it all up with the new developer paradigm. Let's get right into it.
All right, starting off with Section 1, the billion-dollar SaaS trap, and how we're breaking this cycle.
So the absolute crucial point here really comes down to the price tag. Enterprise SaaS almost always means expensive monthly fees, intense vendor lock-in, and these incredibly restrictive data silos. Like, the more your team grows, the higher that bill just skyrockets, right? It's like a penalty for success. But contrast that with open source disruption. This gives you self-hosted freedom. It means you scale for free while keeping absolute, total ownership over your systems and your data. Honestly, organizations are just tired of being punished financially just for trying to scale up their operations.
Which brings us to our second arena, the local AI revolution, or own your intelligence. We're focusing on the AI stack here, which is traditionally a place where developers just bleed hundreds or even thousands of dollars every single month just to access hosted APIs. And this brilliantly illustrates what we call local-first AI. So this is the architecture and the practice of running massive, incredibly powerful AI models directly on your local machine, your laptop or a private server. You don't need the internet, and you definitely do not need an expensive API subscription. Doing this guarantees absolute privacy and basically unlocks these entirely offline AI workflows. It is a total game changer. Let's look at the heavy hitters that are instantly eliminating those massive subscription fees. First, you've got Ollama stepping in to replace hosted APIs for local inference. Then, Open WebUI gives you these secure team copilots instead of relying on commercial AI chats. For media, Whisper is completely replacing transcription sauce for offline speech-to-text. And finally, Fooocus is just knocking out subscription image generators to give you local, high-quality art. Okay, let's deep dive into those first two. Ollama is really your foundational infrastructure here. With just a super easy one-line installation, developers can run massive large language models. We're talking Llama, Mistral, DeepSeek, Gemma, Qwen, all totally locally. Zero API costs, absolutely zero data privacy leaks. But a raw model still needs an interface, right? And that is exactly where Open WebUI comes in. It gives you this beautiful ChatGPT-style interface that has Ollama integration and RAG workflows built right in. When you pair Ollama's engine with Open WebUI, you can build these highly secure, self-hosted internal enterprise copilots entirely for free.
Now, switching gears to audio and visuals. Whisper is OpenAI's open-source speech-to-text model, and it is wild. It supports roughly 100 languages and gives you near enterprise-quality accuracy, even if the audio is super noisy. It is totally normalized open-source speech AI for podcasters and call centers. And then on the visual side, you have Fooocus. This is basically a simplified interface for Stable Diffusion. It dramatically lowers the barrier for generative art, giving you incredible, high-quality image defaults right out of the gate, with zero subscription fees. Plus, it works perfectly on standard consumer GPUs.
So it all leads to this one fundamental paradigm shift I really want you to ponder for a second. Why rent your AI when you can own it? Think about it. When you own the infrastructure, you own the data, you own the security, and ultimately, you own your company's future capabilities. Moving right along to Section 3, redefining workflows and productivity, or what we like to call the open office. Now, when we talk about productivity apps, vendor lock-in usually shows up as rapidly growing per-seat pricing. You know the drill.
Imagine hiring 5 new team members and literally watching your monthly software bill double overnight. You become completely dependent on their platform. Self-hosted freedom completely flips the script on this. It offers unlimited workflows, an open-source architecture, and of course, absolute privacy. For startups that are actively trying to slash their SaaS dependency, this self-hosted freedom is becoming incredibly attractive, especially for cross-functional teams. So let me introduce you to what I call the productivity trio. First up is N8N. Think of this as your open-source alternative to Zapier. It's a node-based visual builder for infinite AI workflows and webhook pipelines. Next is Penpot, which is effectively replacing Figma. It is a web-based, SVG-native, collaborative UI and UX design platform. And then we have AppFlowy. This is stepping in as a massive replacement for things like Notion, giving you a local-first architecture for all your team's notes, wikis, and task tracking. These 3 tools together, they are handing the power and the data privacy right back to the actual users.
All right, let's head into Section 4, Open Source App Infrastructure, and how developers are building the future. Now, what's truly fascinating here is how directly these 5 infrastructure tools map onto their incredibly expensive enterprise equivalents. Look at this. Supabase completely replaces Firebase to give you a robust PostgreSQL backend. Plausible replaces Google Analytics for privacy-first web tracking. Bitwarden steps in for LastPass or 1Password for managing enterprise passwords. Cal.com replaces Calendly for your scheduling infrastructure. And yt-dlp, that replaces paid downloaders entirely for all your media archiving needs. Let's look a little closer at the backbone here. Supabase is honestly one of the fastest-growing developer infrastructure projects out there right now, mainly because it bundles your auth, your database, and real-time APIs all into one open-source platform. It uses this SQL-first approach with Postgres and vector support, which means the developer experience is exceptional and deployment is lightning fast. And then you have Plausible Analytics. Plausible is really capturing this massive shift toward privacy-centric tooling. Developers are just flocking to it because it gives you this gorgeous, clean, lightweight dashboard with strict GDPR compliance and absolutely minimal tracking scripts.
But obviously you can't build a business without utility and security. Bitwarden brings open-source transparency directly to team password vaults, and it has absolutely become the gold standard for trusted enterprise security. Cal.com provides completely open scheduling with amazing APIs and white label support, so it's perfect if you need embedded booking. And yt-dlp? Listen, this thing is absolutely legendary in the developer world. It is the internet's most powerful command line media downloader, and it is absolutely crucial for things like dataset creation, AI training, and automated archiving.
So let's tie all of this together. I want you to imagine a modern startup deploying a completely free tech stack. Step 1, they spin up a Supabase Postgres backend. Step 2, they embed Cal.com APIs directly into their app for user scheduling. Step 3, they track their product usage cleanly and securely using Plausible. And Step 4, they automate all of their CRM data pipelines using N8N workflows. What you end up with is a remarkably robust enterprise-grade architecture, and the whole thing is built entirely on open source. Finally, let's pull the camera back a bit for Section 5, the new developer paradigm, and look at the macro shift happening here.
Because at the end of the day, this story isn't just about getting neat tools for free. It really highlights this massive macro shift that is happening across the industry right now. We are seeing a very real move toward local-first AI and data. There's this soaring demand for open, self-hostable infrastructure. We're witnessing a clear mandate for privacy-focused software. And above all, it's about complete developer ownership. We're seeing community-driven ecosystems that are genuinely, literally, innovating faster than the closed-door corporations they're competing against.
So if you take away just one thing from this entire explainer, let it be this. Open source is no longer just some developer hobby ecosystem. It is the modern infrastructure, it is the primary distribution method, and it is the direct competitive pressure for entire industries. The next generation of AI agents and productivity systems, they will absolutely be built on open source foundations first and commercialized second.
So, I'll leave you with this provocative question to chew on. With tools this incredibly powerful, available on GitHub right now, will the next billion-dollar startup be built entirely for free? I highly encourage you to go explore these 12 repositories and take a hard look at your own tech stack. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer. Keep learning, and I'll catch you on the next one.